Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Share, subscribe, like this video. Make sure you put your prayer request in the bottom. We appreciate each and every one of you being here each and every day. A lot of news happened. You know, got the scrub still on. I've been that tired, and it's really hot outside. I mean really hot out there. So if you've got to work outside today, make sure that you take breaks because it is miserably hot. So while I was at work, the world seemed to once again fall apart. And like I said, the birth pangs just keep growing and growing and growing. So I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, there was an incident of a Russian fighter jet once again getting into it with a Q-9 drone. That happened, looks like today. This was in Syria. Now remember, we talked about Syria last night, of it being a hotbed, that anything can go wrong in Syria. I mean, right now it's a mess over there. But this happened. It says, according to the DOD, the drone was on an anti-ISIS mission. The incident comes roughly a week after the U.S. Air Force F-16 had reportedly logged on to a Russian aircraft with its weapons guidance system while the aircraft was operating near Iraqi-Syrian border. Syria has told the U.S. to leave the country and been refused. Now that Russia has begun intercepting U.S. drones over Syria, the U.S. has moved F-22 Raptor fighter jets into the U.S. Central Command area in responsibility, presumably to deal with the Russian aircraft. Trouble is, if the U.S. tries to deal with those Russian aircraft, Russia will likely deal with the U.S. in reply. Real trouble is brewing in multiple locations in multiple ways. Help needed. So at the end, let's see. Okay, that's just him. Okay, it's not important. Okay, let's see what else here. My nose itching off. My allergies have been killing me. Absolutely killing me today, people. Killing me. I want to thank everybody that sent me letters today. I got a bunch more letters. Also, all the donations we received, the ones who bought me coffee, all that, thank you very, very much for all that came in today. I don't want to forget about you guys. Let's see. That's what I wanted, but didn't want to give it to me. Okay, Russian Parliament increases draft age to 30. Suitable general mobilization for a big war. The Russian State Duma adopted a bill that provides a raising the draft age to 30 years old, currently 27. Young people from 18 to 30 years old can thus be called up for military service. The law come into force of January the 1st. The law is written into a big war for general mobilization, and already is a big war, Deputy Andrews said. It means that they are training that percentage of people for war. Russia knows what is coming and training their people for it. Fundraise, let's see. I wish he quit doing that. So, not only them, but China's doing the same thing. They're literally drafting a lot of people right now. So, Russia and China both are drafting a lot of their population to get ready for World War III. But this right here was the biggest one today. And it's like flat, I'm telling you, it's almost like deja vu. Deja vu. Breaking news, Cuba announces it's ready to accept Russian missiles again as Russian Navy arrives 90 miles from the U.S. coast. The Vice Admiral Kosakov, underlay class destroyer of the Russian, nose itching off. Russian Navy has arrived in Cuba for an official visit for the first time in a long time. And this is dangerous news for the United States. Shortly before the Russian Navy warship arrived, talks were held between the leaders of Cuba and Russia and their defense ministries. The result is a statement of strengthened not only economic cooperation but military technical cooperation. According to the American military experts, this could mean the return of Russia to Cuba with all the resulting consequences, the deployment of Russian troops and long-range missiles. This will be a decisive Russian response to the threats posed by expansion of NATO presence in Northern Europe and Japan. Earlier, Cuban leader strongly condemned the entry into NATO. Earlier, Cuban leader strongly condemned the entry into NATO of new member bordering Russia. In light of the hostile actions by the NATO alliance, Cuba is ready to place Russian missiles on its territory again. says covert intel indicates cargo ships in Russia with pre-filled transit routes to Cuba seems to be in the process of being loaded with components with Russian missile manufacturing factories. Readers show note that back in 1962, then the Soviet Union placed medium-range and intercontinental range nuclear missiles in Cuba, with a 5-minute flight time to Washington D.C. It resulted in the Cuban Missile Crisis, wherein the U.S. President John F. Kennedy opposed a naval blockade of Cuba and began massing U.S. troops in Florida for an invasion of Cuba to destroy the missiles. For the 13 days when the crisis erupted, the world stood on a precipice of actual nuclear war. The U.S. has blockaded Cuba and the U.S. had blockaded Cuba and was massing troops. Soviets faced a choice with the missiles: use them or lose them. The brief of scenes from that's from that movie, 13 Days. Of course, the movie dramatization comprised 13 days into 145 minutes, distortion of many specific historical facts. But the central themes of the movie was the principal takeaways are essential faithful to what happened when JFK stood eyeball to eyeball in 1962. Back then, Soviet leader Nikita agreed to dismantle and remove those missiles, and the U.S. agreed to remove its Jupiter missiles from the deployment in Turkey, where they were aimed at the Soviet Union. Today, the U.S. wants to bring Ukraine into NATO to place missiles on Ukraine's soil within 5-minute time to Moscow. Same situation as the Cuban Missile Crisis, but in reverse. Russia told Ukraine no. Ukraine ignored Russia. Then the Russian army went in and now smashing Ukraine. The U.S. and NATO are supplying Ukraine with weapons to kill Russians. So the Russians are now sending naval vessels to Cuba, and Cuba says it's willing to accept Russian missiles. Same type of crisis in 1962, only this time it was the U.S. and NATO that started it by trying to bring Ukraine into NATO as to put U.S. missiles in Ukraine. This time the prospect of actual nuclear war is very much greater because the fighting has already begun in Ukraine. For all the latest details, let's see. Okay, the rest of it's fundraising for him. All this information comes from Hal Turner. Okay, there was another story I thought was interesting. Where can I find it? Okay, so they're sending more stuff to Iran. So they're sending more Navy ships there. Okay, here it is. 25,000 sailors, mariners to prepare for a global conflict and large-scale exercise in 2023. So now you've got all these exercises, which I like what Nate says on Canadian Prepper. There's no exercises, just World War III disguises. Because that's what we're looking at right now. You're seeing the whole world getting their militaries ready for this war. Like I said, we've told you for now 8 months, World War III is inevitable. It's going to happen. We've told you to get as many people on the ark as possible. We know it's coming. I ain't scared of it. I know it's coming. I know it's going to happen. I just don't know when it starts. Okay? That's the thing. I just don't know when. Could it happen today? Could it happen tomorrow? It's not the ball. This thing could be set off tonight. But I'll tell you this, I don't see America letting them put those nuclear missiles there. But they could. It's Biden. He might even tell them to wrap them up in a birthday present, for all I know. These people are 10 shades of crazy. But you're starting to see the whole world unravel before our very eyes. So right there it tells us we're in the season. But a lot of us are like, well, they're not going to do anything. These poor people. They'll wait till the last minute. They won't see it coming when it does happen. Because they think that America is untouchable. But I hate to tell you, North Korea can obliterate America right now. All I got to do is, if they decide to start launching it, there's nothing we can do, people. People have this sick sense of that we can shoot these missiles down. You can't shoot these ballistic missiles down, okay? They can't shoot ours down. We can't shoot theirs down, okay? they're going to hit. But people just think that these people, the nuclear bombs all around the world, are just never going to be set off. They was created for a reason, and that's for the tribulation. And we're getting ready to go into the tribulation. So these missiles will be launched from their respective countries. Actually, many of them. That's why we've told you to be awake and aware and listening for the chauffeur. I'm telling you, people, from here all the way to September, it could be any day. But this war is going to start very soon. And right before that happens, we go out of here. We leave. So the best thing for you to do, just try to get as many people on the ark, celebrate, because we're getting ready to go home. Now, they're also going to be doing blackouts. We're going to talk about that more this evening. They're talking about doing blackout exercises in America. That's the Army. I've always said, they tell you what they're going to do before they do it. And this is huge news. If they're planning for a blackout, now we already know a blackout happens because we've all seen it. Me, Bella, and many others have seen this. So we know that's going to come. Many of us have seen blackouts. Even Gigi. Even Kim Fisher. The list goes on and on. So there is a blackout that's coming. And they're right now starting to do exercises about blackouts. I'm 47. I've never known to do any exercise about blackouts. They're going to shut down electricity in cities to train for blackouts. If you can't see what's happening, nothing we can do for you, but it is happening. Get right with Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, believe in your heart. Call upon him in the last days. He died for your past, present, and future sins. Call upon him. Believe in your heart with everything you have. He did it all. It's only through his blood that any of us are allowed into heaven. He rose on the third day. Have faith in the Word and faith in Jesus, okay? And then you're saved and you're ready to go. It's that easy. It's not hard. Like everybody, I know a lot of Christians act like it's so hard, but it's not. But you got to truly believe, and have faith in the Word of God, that it is the truth. It's not, everybody believes in Jesus, but do you have faith in him? Does your heart have faith in him? Do you rely on him? There's a lot of keys to it, okay? So believe on Jesus, have faith, and call upon him and trust him with everything you have. And you're saved. And all you got to do is sit back and wait for the ark to come, because it's not going to be long. Because these people are going to blow themselves up. And I've already seen them do it. I already know what's coming. Our thing is right now, when does it happen? We already know what's coming, okay? World War III happens. I can tell you that 100%. Without no doubts. Us and Russia will go into a nuclear war over Ukraine. It will happen. I've already seen it. Some people have seen it for 10 years. We told you that Belarus was going to get nukes. They did. We told you when Wagner was all that would probably be the invasion force that comes into Kyiv. And now they're talking about that, and into Poland. God's made us aware of all these events before they happen. That is where I do believe that World War III will spark. And like I said, it's very easily, they could actually even spark in Syria. With everybody there and ready to fight, and you got China and Taiwan, there's a lot of stuff going on in China and Taiwan, a lot. People, all other countries, and this is another sign that you look forward to, is what does other countries are exporting. Now with other countries cutting down rice and wheat and not shipping them, they're preparing for war. That's why. They will quit exporting. Now see, in the last 30 to 40 years, everybody started relying on exports. They've quit manufacturing everything. Now everybody's dependent on other countries. Well, that's not going to go very well very soon because nobody makes anything. So everybody's not shipping the stuff out anymore. They're not shipping food out. They're not shipping medicine out. Why Americans are just like, well, what? Why ain't anything on the shelf? Has no clue what's happening. They don't realize that World War III is happening right underneath them because they can't get out of TikTok long enough to look up. They're too busy playing PlayStation and watching ignorant celebrities and all this other stuff that just a waste of their time. But that's what's happening right now. Why the whole world's asleep. And us that are watching here on our watchtowers, we see what's coming. We see what they're going to do. And they know what they're going to do. They know they're going to war. They're already prepared for it. But the populations are asleep. They have no clue. That's why I said the rapture is imminent. It could happen at any time. And all we got to do now is just try to get as many people on the ark as possible. Because we're definitely there, people. And it is getting quicker and quicker. If you notice these birth pains, each week they're getting crazier and crazier. I mean, eventually they're going to erupt. The Holy Spirit, the restrainer is going to be removed, and we're going to be gone, and they can just blow each other up. I know I'm like you guys. I just want to get out of here as soon as possible. Because I know these people are going to destroy themselves, and I just want to get out of here before it happens. And I know, I trust in Jesus. He says, I come in the storm. I just wish they'd hurry up and get it over with so we can get out of here. Because I'm ready to go home. I am done with earth and everything on it. They can have all this here. Every bit of it. We're just one day closer, so don't put your head down. Tomorrow, what is it? Tomorrow's the 9th of all, so that's definitely a high watch day for everybody to watch. A lot of people talking about tomorrow. I've not seen tomorrow. I've not seen the 26th or anything about 9th off. And all my stuff that I've seen, I've not seen it, so I can't say anything about it. You know, I'm still waiting on the San Francisco earthquake, and it hasn't happened yet. Like I said, I'm still waiting to see if that dream comes to be a biblical dream with a timeline. So, and if that don't happen, I guess it wasn't. But, you know, if 9th of all passes tomorrow, and it might not, we might be raptured out of here tonight. Let's hope and pray that's the case. Because very possible we might be out of here tomorrow. Tonight or tomorrow. Let's hope and pray. There's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. I'll say that. Tomorrow's those blackout things that I'm talking to you about in the cities with the army, that happens tomorrow. Just so happens to be on the 9th of all. Go figure. Or the Feast of Wine. So, a lot of that's happening tomorrow. So definitely keep your eyes out. Have your ears up, because we might get raptured out of here tonight. You never know. Now, I've always said, I mean, it'll be when you least expect it. Well, I'm least expecting it now, so maybe it is tonight. Let's get out of here. Let's go home. I'm ready to go anytime. I don't care what feast or what day. I don't care what it is. Let's get out of here. Definitely keep Kim Fisher in your prayers. Her knee is really still giving her a lot of problems, and we need to pray that she doesn't have any damage to it, because she's going to go have it checked. Definitely keep Gary and his wife and his family in your prayers. They're still having some hard time there. That's Gator 1111. And anybody else out there that truly needs it, keep Lisa in your prayers. Our good friend Lisa, she lost her brother, and now her dog is sick. And she lost Mark a couple of weeks ago. Now her dog is really, really sick. So keep Lisa in your prayers. Keep us all in your prayers. Every one of us. We all need it. You need it. I need it. We all need it. Being in these last days, just to get through these last days. I know you guys probably don't think that I'm struggling, but I'm struggling just as well as you guys. You know, we all want out of here. The faster, the better. I love each and every one of you. I'll be back on tonight. I'll try to find some more information on this blackout thing that's going to take place tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow's the last day, or tonight's even the last time we have to be here. We can go home. I love each and every one of you. If I don't see or hear from me again, I'll see you in heaven.